Hi, and welcome to Acting is Everything. I'm glad you're watching. I have a very special guest with me. She has the acting career that we would all like to have. She's starred in over 100 films. She's had 4 television series. She's had an acting studio, a large acting studio, where I always recommend actors went with long waiting lists and such. And she recently shut the studio down, though she's still reaching out to actors. She still teaches privately, but she has developed a whole way of healing and healing your soul and working on your spiritual life. And I talk to actors all the time about developing your spiritual life. You must do it because you're carried. The good actors that we know have very abundant spiritual lives, and so do their characters, and that's what we love to watch. So with such a poor introduction, please Google Dee Wallace. Thank you so much, Dee, for being with me.
I think it was an amazing introduction. Thanks.
Oh, okay.
I'm going, I've done all that.
So the audience can understand. You're working along, you're acting, you're teaching. How did you develop this? What caused you to?
Well, this being the healing work, a few years ago, I had started an acting studio, quite frankly, because financially I needed to supplement my income as an actor. I bought into one of those beliefs that I'm hum years old and work falls off. And so one day, I guess the studio had been going for about 4 or 5 years, and I said, you know, universe, we're all doing the prayer work, we're all doing the affirmations, we're all saying what we want, and it's not working. And I want to know why. I want to know how we can heal ourselves without the help of anybody else other than Source. And the information just started pouring in. And now I have finally a book coming out. I can't tell you how many rewrites we've been through, because the work, we'd get to the end of the book and go, well, the work's all different now, because it kept refining itself and changing and becoming simpler and becoming higher. And it really is kind of an example of how life itself works, how an acting career works. It is always evolving. It is always changing. It always growing. Or if you don't allow it to do that, it becomes stagnant and doesn't go anywhere.
Right. Right, and every role is a process. Your acting career is a process. The business part of that career is a process.
Absolutely.
One of the things, the secret now is, because it's entered pop culture, a lot of people are taking hits at it. And of course, I love it, the law of attraction. I remember in my 20s when I started on my discovery of what the riches in life are. And I heard about it then. I've heard it about it through that we create our own lives, that we are in charge, that we have to take responsibility, which is a lot what The Secret.
It really is a major force in The Secret. And the wonderful thing about The Secret is that it is introducing this to the mass consciousness. We're all going to be able to talk about it. We're all going to be able to have somewhat of a similar reference now, which has not happened, you know, for eons and eons. And the frustrating thing about The Secret for a lot of people is that they don't quite have a complete understanding of what The Secret is saying. And a lot of people are coming out of it going, sound bite, all I have to do for a week is, and I'm going to say what I want, I'm going to feel really good, and then my life's going to start changing around. And it will, and it's a process. It's the process of life. And if we have to have things show up in our life in order to be happy and stay in love and feel good, then we're not going to keep creating. And I think that's where people get a little bit confused around this whole thing, is they give up after 3 weeks or 3 months or whatever their time allotment is, and they don't understand that it usually right when your life is ready to open up and show up, most of us go, well, see, it didn't work. And then we stop doing the very thing that's bringing it in, and then we think it didn't work, when in actuality, the universe was getting ready to deliver a lot to us if we were allowing ourselves to get it, and we walked away. And that's the other thing. Like an acting career, you have to know you're worthy to get that part. If you walk into that room or walk into the room of life and go, hi, I'm Dee Wallace, and this is a really good part, and I think I could do this. I really do. You know, they're going, I'm thinking, no, let's see somebody else. And life is, the universe is very much like that. You have to say, this is what I want, and I am worth it. I was made worth it by being born, by choosing to come into form on this planet and exist. I am worth creating whatever it is that I want to create. But the universe not only responds to your words, as in an audition, they're not responding to your words as much as they're responding to the vibration that you're holding. I mean, if I go in and I go, I hate you, I never want to see you again, there's not much behind those words.
No.
You know? So they're looking for the experience that I'm bringing. They're looking for my vibration, and that's, the universe is doing the same thing.
Wow. Well, and one of the things about the secret is the intention and claiming what you want. And so many people going back to thinking that they don't deserve it, and they're not taking responsibility.
Well, they're not taking responsibility, Judy, because we've been told that we shouldn't. From the time we could understand anything, it's, no, let them have your toy. No, you share what you don't want to share. We're taught to put everybody in the universe ahead of ourselves. And ultimately, the message that transfers into is, I can't love myself. I'm not supposed to love myself. It's blasphemous to love myself. It's not humble to love myself. I will give myself up in order to love others. And you can't. You have to thine own self be true first. And of course, we're talking in the highest sense of the word. We're not talking in the lower, selfish sense. You know?
Well, so what is the highest sense?
Love. When you truly, truly love yourself as, and I'm going to be really brave here, the God that you are, you cannot but serve yourself and serve others at the same time. And sometimes serving others means not giving them what they think they need. Like enabling someone. If you keep enabling someone not to live up to their potential, you're not serving them. My daughter's turning 18. I'm saying, you're out of the house, dude. You go find out all of the things that I have been helping you with now, and start understanding how you create for yourself. She's well on her way. She does the work, and she understands a lot of it, as you know. And she's beautiful, and she's talented. And she's pretty much dependent on, Mom's always come up with the answer, you know. I've taught her how to do it on her own, but as long as I'm there and as long as I'm doing it, she's not going to do it. And you know what? The universe won't either. And I think, I know that where most of us get tripped up, you know, is the ask and ye shall receive. Well, the literal meaning of ask in Hebrew, in the original Hebrew, was claim or demand. Claim or demand. So vibrationally, that's a big difference than, if I'm worthy, would it be all right if you gave me this? And I'm worthy, deliver this to me now.
It's a much different energy.
It's an entirely different energy.
Well, what if someone has a low energy, they're depressed or they're not feeling good about claiming, or how does one raise one's energy?
Well, there are a lot of tools that you can use. The first one that comes to mind is gratitude.
How does that work?
Well, because you can't change your life if you're a victim. You just can't. You can't be sitting there going, oh, poor me, it's their fault, it's his fault, it's God's fault, it's the universe's fault, and change your life. You can't do it. Until you go, it's my stuff, and I'm responsible, you can't move out of victimness. So, easy to say, and everybody says hard to do, and that's a belief right there. It's a choice. What do you want to choose right now? I want to choose to find 10 things that I can be in gratitude. I'm in gratitude for the beautiful flowers. I'm in gratitude that I get to sit with my friend that I haven't seen, whose heart I love. I'm in gratitude that I get to share with other actors this amazing knowledge that I'm still in the process of developing. I'm in gratitude that I have a beautiful daughter that I can talk about. Right. You don't have to look very hard to start being in gratitude. But what that does is, vibrationally, scientifically, okay, it opens up your heart chakra and allows you to start lifting your vibration. So you can see the difference if I act it in, oh my God, I'm so sick and my body's not working and I'm fat and I don't feel good. And I'm making the choice to move out of this. I'm choosing to look in the mirror and I'm going to find 3 things that are really good about me. My eyes, I have beautiful eyes. I appreciate the fact, and I love myself and I love the universe for wanting to be better, wanting to be happier. You see, you have to start. And gratitude, and my big other thing is unforgiveness. If there's anybody in your life that you have not forgiven, you better start now. Because if you're living in unforgiveness, you are living in blame and you are going, it's your fault that I'm so...
But what if they're a horrible human being? What if they beat you? What if they break your heart?
That's their stuff. It's only your stuff if you keep it alive, Judy. And that's what I mean. That's the ego. That's the ego coming forward going, I'm not going to forgive them. I'm not going to give that up. That gives me all my power. Instead of, you know what? The only person going down with me holding this hate and unforgiveness is me. And I know it. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about on this one. I know it on a professional level. I know it on a friend level. I know it on a family level. You must forgive. That doesn't mean you have to take them out to dinner and go dancing with them.
And you don't even have to tell them, do you?
No. It's you forgive for you.
Now, I think we're both talking about if your intention in life is to have happiness and joy. I know that's mine, and love.
Love is the highest creative force in the universe.
So that's what I'm always trying to create for myself, is fun and pleasure and joy.
And you see a lot of people listening and going, well, that's selfish.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. We're taught incorrectly by the people we love who thought that they knew.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
No.
And we have to recreate that. You have to recreate it in your life so that you can create your life.
Right. Well, and I just wanted to point out that someone else may want sadness and depression. Then you shouldn't go into gratitude and forgiveness.
Exactly.
If you want to stay in that place.
Exactly. But if your intention is to live in love and be happy, then no matter what you have right in front of you in the moment materially, you will be. I have a little lady that cleans. She's been with me for 30 years, and she cleans my house once a week. and she brings in her radio, and she's talking to God all day, and she's singing, and when she comes, it's, oh, Mrs. D, and she kisses me, and she hugs me, and she says, praise the Lord, and she is one happy dudette, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And so many people would say, but she's got to clean houses 5 days a week. Well, she's happy doing that.
Right.
And I know a lot of people that have a lot of money that aren't as happy as she is doing what they're, and I know a lot of people who have a lot of money that are.
Yeah.
It's so not about the money. It's about, are you going to be happy wherever you're at?
Well, what happened to turn your acting career around? I mean, people aren't going to realize that you weren't working there for a while. But
well, that's really why, why I started the studio, and that all the healing work started within the studio. Oftentimes, I think the universe created the acting studio to create the healing work. I'm very sure of it, quite frankly. But like I said, I had been very, very hurt and damaged in the business, and I kept going, it's their fault, look what they did to me, blah, blah, blah. And during the course of this work, and that I think is the biggest part of it, I said, whenever you point the finger out there, just turn it around, because the answers lie right here. And I had to go, okay, well, what were my perceptions that created me bringing that into my life? And I come from a family who always made it, and then stuff fell through, and they had to sabotage themselves physically. That was a big thing. In my family, everybody had to pay physically for any time they moved ahead in their life. And now I'm off every medication, and I'm not a doctor, disclaimer here, but I'm off all medications that I've been on for over 20 years. And they're going, well, you can't go off thyroid. And I said, well, do I need it? And they go, well, no. You know? So, and just really quickly, and I think the medical profession obviously offers great help to us. And ultimately, we heal ourselves. Nobody else can heal yourself for you. Nobody can heal your career for you, and nobody can heal you in body-wise, health-wise, how you think, except you. And so, you know, go see me or Judy or a doctor or a psychic or whomever it is that helps give you the power to heal yourself. But ultimately know that the buck stops here. You got to do it.
What would you say to a young actor starting out, or even where they feel like they're stalled in their career? So they work on forgiveness, passion. They work on gratitude. Then what's the passion?
Passion. You just can't ever lose your passion. When it starts being a job, and it starts being a paycheck, that's when you're starting to go into the shady area. Because there's all kinds of hidden beliefs and stuff around. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you the amount of people that think creativity and the power that comes from creativity and the financial power that comes from creativity can't live harmoniously if you are in higher consciousness.
Well, tell me about that.
Well, you know, I got to wait tables.
Ah.
I got to wait tables. I have to, you know, do.
If I want to be creative.
Yeah, and I have to do non-union plays, okay, for 12 years before I can even start thinking about. Or it's not created to do film and TV. A real actor only does stage. There's a myriad of limiting beliefs out there, you know, and I'm telling, what I want to tell all the creative people out there is that it's your essence that is supposed to get out into the world. We are, and always have been, some of the most powerful healers in the world. When people watched E.T., and when people still watch E.T., they are healed because they see the truth. When people watch 2.5 Men, they're healed because you laugh your rear end off.
Right.
Okay? laughter. Sometimes if you play the bad guy and the villain, you're serving a purpose, okay, because people get to live out their fears, and then everything's okay in the end, and we get to viscerally work through that. We allow people to feel and face what they can't give themselves permission to do.
When you played the mom in E.T., was that 20 years ago?
25. This is the
25?
25th.
25 years.
Don't I look good?
You do. You do look good, honey.
Thank you.
How could you have played a mom that long ago?
Well,
but
because
anyway.
in Hollywood, when you're 32, you play the mother of 16-year-olds.
Did you know at that time that the movie was going
You know, as Blake Edwards said to me when I did 10 with him, and I said, "Oh, Blake, it's going to be such a big hit." And he said, "Honey, if we knew what made a hit, we'd have a lot more of them." So I knew that the script was really special, and I knew it was a heart story, and I really wanted to be involved with it. But it was supposed to be Stephen's little film, and I knew I wasn't the star. I knew who the star was. Yeah. And, but that's what I mean. The universe says, come out and play, and you go play, and then you hold your intention, and it drops in from places that you could not even imagine. You can't set it up as well as the universe will set it up. I laughingly said to my students, a couple of years ago, I want a series, and I don't want to have to work ungodly hours, and I want a bunch of really talented, great people and loving people on the set, and I don't want to have to go to the network to get it. Well, we all laughed.
That's impossible.
Yeah. So, I'm known for my body of dramatic work. So along comes this audition to go in and improv, which I don't really do, although I do it all the time, but I don't think of myself as an improv actor, for this comedy. And I went, I don't know, that's not really my forte. And my manager, Laura Pallas, whom I love to death, said, well, darling, what would you say to your students? I know it's a really bad accent, Laura, but, And I went, all right, I'll go play. And I went in and had the time of my life, and as I'm leaving, Fred Goss, who I will love till the day I die, says to me, well, Dee, you're not going to hear us until we know if we're picked up or you're hired for the part, because it's improv and there's no way we can show it to the network, so you won't have to go to the network. And I went, mysterious ways, a comedy, an improv. Who knew? But
and
that's
the
what
critics
I mean.
loved the show.
Oh my
it was
gosh.
so good. It was
Thank
so
you.
fun. It was so
so
innovative.
good that we didn't.
Yeah.
That was TV Guide's quote. It's so good it may not get picked up. But it served, you see.
You got a
what,
year.
What could have been, if my perspective had been, oh, that's so crummy, and every time I get something it doesn't go, and poor me. I said, you know what? Great things are going to come out of this show. I have incredible new footage that I used on a new reel. I had gotten out. I was back on the charts with ABC, and that opened up new agents, and it just, everything started to flower because I said, how can I use it? How can I call this good?
All right. I just got the sign that I have 3 minutes left.
Oi.
Is that true? Oh, okay. Well, I definitely want to talk about the pendulum. Dee, this has been so valuable. Oh my gosh!
Okay. See,
and you'll come back when the book is ready to be out, so we can tell everybody about that. One of the things that when I first went to Dee's workshop about 2 years ago, I think it is, or a little over a year. I've been to 3 of them, and since then, what I created in the workshop,
It's been amazing.
which has been going out on the road and teaching workshops in other parts of the country, and
this show.
and everything that I'm doing now, and doing it with love and joy and gratitude. And thankfully, there's no one to forgive yet, but I'll do it. And but one of the things I love about it is the pendulum, and because it brings
It's a telephone. You know, if you just look at it as a telephone to.
And you can use a pendulum, you can use a necklace, you can use a tea bag.
Yeah, it has no power in
This doesn't.
In itself. It literally is like picking up a telephone and talking to the higher source, whatever your term is for that. But basically, what's so valuable about this is we live here. We think all of our best decisions are made here, and in actuality, it's from here. It's where you have to get to. So you have to bypass your conscious mind and really be willing to do this and look at your own stuff. And the pendulum is a wonderful tool to do that. You know, it takes practice.
Right.
You can't just pick it up right now and go, oh, God, I'm good. But
you have to ask that it's from your higher source.
right, and you always start out with show me my yes and show me my no. I'm balanced because energy always has to be balanced.
And if you're not balanced,
Right, that's an easy
balance.
way. This is a great thing to do before an audition, by the way.
yeah,
Is tap right above your
Great.
ears. It just aligns your meridians for you.
great.
I'm balanced, and then check I'm not balanced to make sure you know that it goes to no. I have permission to do this.
And my yes is clockwise, and my no is counterclockwise. It doesn't have to be. You'll just have
Right.
to ask. And I always say my name is Judy, and it gives me a yes. And then I say my name is Dee, and it gives me a no. I always use Dee.
you?
Yes, I do.
I used to use Methuselah. But anyway, oftentimes you think you know, and you think that there's nothing in the way, and you really are making decisions.
Okay, so we're getting the wind-up sign. So we're going to continue on talking. Keep watching. Keep doing it.
You really are making
yeah, they'll run the credits.
decisions
You can
out
email
of fear,
me.
You know, fear, limitation, and this just kind of guides you into knowing what your own stuff is.
So if we wanted to say, what might I want to ask?
Well, first
Well,
of all,
you don't ask. You make
right,
statements.
you make a statement. You
So
always
what would a statement be?
Well, what do you want to know something about? Judy?
Dee's had a grand time here today.
I can tell you that without
Yes.
using look how big
Yes.
the circle is. I always am enjoy when I get to
Yes.
share any of
The
this.
right people are going to get to see the show. The people who need to see the show are going to see it. Yes.
Always.
Yes.
They're attracted to it.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll show you how it doesn't work. There's over 1 million people watching. We get a no. We have permission to ask? Yes. But, you know, there's not over 1 million yet.